Hello everyone, welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with issue 25 of the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. Okay, so what's in the magazine for issue 25? Some more on the Belle Epoque. A photograph of Tower Bridge in London. A note on the Japanese influence in culture in the Edwardian era. I'm noticing a distinct lack of information on Titanic. Cutlery aboard the Titanic. I think that's some of the pieces that were recovered, actually. Again, one of the greatest love story told on Titanic. No, not Leonardo the Cartwheel and whoever else. It is in fact Isidor and Ida Strauss, who, despite his age and his status, was not allowed. Isidor Strauss was not allowed on a boat, so Ida said she wasn't leaving him, and the two of them went back to their cabin. Such a shame, but yeah. And again, that's more about them, because they were very well to do and very well known. And that brings us on to the instructions. Again, as always, the part that we look forward to most. So, give me a moment and let's have a look at what we get in issue 25. Okay, so the box for issue 25 actually opens differently to previous ones. It doesn't open at the end, it opens like so. So we have another LED board. This goes under the forward well deck. Nothing else in the box. Far easier to see that this time. This, I believe, yep, this is the bulkhead that goes between the forecastle deck and the forward well deck. Now there's a lot of doors and there is quite a bit of detail on it, but you can't really see it because, well, it's... yeah. There's a couple of portholes on there that I'm going to drill out, and I may put a black wash or something just over there in time, just to try and make it look a bit less whitewashed. And then in the other side, we have an absolute plethora of CP screws. We have the brackets that are used to attach that, and we have these. Now I'm going to open these up. These are not getting used. As I mentioned in the last episode, I don't like these. These do not look even remotely like what they're supposed to. But these are the ladders that they've sent us. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but they're dreadful. They are so lacking in detail. Yeah, I'm not even putting them on. So what I am going to do, not today, but as I mentioned before, I have here a sheet of brass photo etch, and I'm going to use these ladders here. And what I'm going to do is basically sand them off a little bit, fold them to the right shape, and paint them. Paint the handrails brown, the steps grey, and the rest of it white. Again, I'm not kind of barred by time on that. I can do them sort of whenever as I get round to them. But as I say, the first thing I'm going to do is these two portholes that are up here. I am going to just drill out. Again, just using my little hand drill. Now there's already an indent, so I don't need to worry about marking it. Again, just nice, neat little drill through there. Porthole number 1. And the same for porthole number 2. Now just be careful, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on as I'm doing it here because it's not the most secure of plastics and it will bend. But there we go, there's the two portholes drilled out. So that'll at least add some sort of a feature. But I will go and get the forecastle deck and the forward well deck, and I will be back in a momento. Okay, so the first thing we need are these brackets for attaching to the back of that bulkhead that we were just looking at a minute ago. And as I say, there are 4 of these brackets, 2 of each kind. Okay, and the first ones we need are these ones here. They're just a kind of L shape, and they're going to be going on to these 2 end slots. Now they are keyed, you can see there's a keyhole on there, so they will only go on one way. Now there is slight wiggle room, so you just want to make sure they're going on straight and they're being attached with the only type of screw that comes in this issue, which is the CP screw. And again, just make sure they're sitting straight like that. And the second one, exactly the same, goes on. Or maybe it doesn't, because I've just catapulted my screw off into oblivion. Fortunately, they give you spares. That screwdriver did used to sit there quite nicely. It doesn't anymore. And there we go. Goes on there again. It's keyed. So just tighten the screw on. It should be tight enough that you can't move the bracket, but not tight enough it's going to strip it out. And that looks just like that. And the next thing we're then doing is these brackets here, which look like that, they are going on here, and again with the keyhole design like that. And again they're held on with the same CP screws. Go. That one had moved slightly. I'll just make sure it's sitting straight. Perfect. Okay. So this actually is the last issue that we're working on decking sections, on lighting, on hull even. For the next, well, this is issue 25. Up until issue 40. Yep, issue 40. It's all to do with the engine bay. And that there is what that looks like with all the brackets attached. So, the next stage we're going to be attaching this to the forward well deck. And the way we're doing that is, if you can see, there are 3 holes there. So we're just going to be lining those 3 holes up with the 3 holes that are here. Now, I don't know how well it lines up for everyone else. It's not lining up all that well for me. So turn it upside down. As I say, it would be better if there was a sort of an indent. There is actually. It's just I couldn't see it because I was doing it from the other side. So there are tabs on here. They line up with the slots in the bottom, or they're supposed to. Ah, there we go. Okay. It's a tight fit. It's a very tight fit actually. So push these into the slots like that, and it should sit just like this. Actually, it looks not too bad. Okay, and then again, 3 CP screws to attach that on. They don't need to be overly tight because those tabs do give it a fairly tight fit anyway. And if you do over tighten it, as I've mentioned countless times, all you'll do is strip the plastic out and they won't fit at all. And you definitely don't want to be doing that. And that's the last one going in there, like that. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is, before we attach this to the forecastle deck, it wants us to turn it upside down and fit the LED board in there. So I'm going to get the LED board ready and I will be back in just a moment. Okay, so here we have the circuit board. The wires point towards the aft of the ship. This LED points towards the bit we've just screwed on. You can see there is a small cutaway there and it lines up with that line there. Now, as we've done before, what we're instructed to do is line these tabs up, and then I used my drill last time to pull that tab out the way and let it in, and then do the same for this one here, and it goes on quite easily, just like that. And as I say, that'll light up the front part of the hull. These will line up the part immediately behind it, and yeah, it should look quite nice. I've got my batteries on charge so we can have a look in just a moment. And the next thing we need is the forecastle deck. Now what it tells you to do is take their horrible little ladders and stick them on to these two nubs here. I'm not doing that, I'm not using them. As I say, what I will do is I will glue my photo etch ones on there when it comes time. So, what I'm going to be doing now is purely and simply lining this up with this. Okay, so these two troughs line up with these two pegs, being careful not to damage any of the details on the top section. Now bear in mind, this is why I said it's so important to make sure that you lined all the brackets up properly, because if they're out of alignment, this bit's going to be very, very challenging for you. So again, there we go. That's them nicely lined up, and then there are two of the CP screws which go in here, and they go in like that. 2 seconds, I'll get the other screw, and that, believe it or not, will be us done. As I say, I am not fitting those ladders because they're terrible. I will do these ones as a separate issue, the way I did with the details for the forecastle deck itself. And that is what that looks like. Not bad. As I say, I will have ladders coming down from there eventually, just not just now. A bit of a gap there. I'm not convinced there should be. In fact, I know there shouldn't be. Okie dokie. I will have a play about and see what I can do, but that is that bit all done for now. I'll just see if these screws can tighten up anymore. Ah, that's better. Miles better. Okie dokie. Yeah, so there you go. That's what that looks like. Yeah, quite good. And that's that for issue 25. Believe it or not. But that looks quite good. And again, that now means that that'll all sit in the hull quite nicely, to be stored and kept safe until at least issue 41. So that is us for issue 25. What's coming in issue 26? The engine room floor, thrust blocks, nice wee pair of tweezers and some pipe work. Now, as I mentioned, issue 26 to issue 40 are all building the engine room and the second engine. Fun. But that's what we're looking like up to now. That's how that is adding on. And as I say, when that lights up, it'll put all the light along here. I haven't decided if I'm going to drill out the rest of the portholes going all the way forward. I probably will, in fairness, and then just extend the LEDs to the front of the ship. But we shall see. That's all for now. That's us for issue 26 of the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. Yeah, join me for issue 26. As I say, we'll start on the engine room. As always, thanks very much for watching. Any comments, complaints, criticisms, drop them below. Feel free to give me a like, and please do follow and subscribe to the channel, because it means that you'll see when I put the next few issues up. I'm going to be doing them in a fairly short turnaround to try and catch up a bit before the next 4 come through. But yeah, thanks as always for watching, and hopefully see you for the next ones. And as always, peace out everyone. See you later.